Good day and welcome to this webinar on scripting Typefi AutoFit. At the outset, I'll have to say that Typefi's AutoFit can be scripted only when it was installed as part of a full Typefi installation. So therefore, when you installed the free AutoFit plugin, that can't be scripted. AutoFit has two components. One component deals with the relations between page items and is accessed via the AutoFit icon in the Tools panel, which is this one here. So just to show you, you have two text frames, for example, and you find a relation between these two, like this. Now, there's a relationship, a location relationship between these two. But in this webinar, I won't deal with this component of AutoFit because the relations between page items is basically an aspect of the design, and these relations are typically set in the template. These relations are fully scriptable, but we don't use them very often, so therefore we don't deal with them. The second component of AutoFit is what you see here on the left, the AutoFit panel. And this panel is used to set properties of individual page items, which is not entirely true because, as you see here in the AutoFit panel's flyout, you can remove relationships like this. See, now the relationship is removed, but that's the only thing that the AutoFit panel has to do with relationships. So we will not deal with this in the rest of this webinar. So on to characteristics, properties of individual frames. In the panel, you can set a frame's minimum width. So, for example, 200 minimum. You can say a maximum, set a maximum width, 400. Well, it can't go beyond 400 now, like this. This is all basic AutoFit, and you can set minimum height, 50, for example. So, and a maximum height, maybe 600. And now it can't grow bigger than 600. Apart from that, you can balance columns, which we won't deal with here now, and you can set an orientation. You can say that the settings apply to height only, width only, height and width, or height and width keep proportional. When you select, for example, height only, you can also choose a reference point in the panel's proxy. You should always use the top left proxy. The only thing I'll say about that requirement is that this is a consequence of the way that the Typefi engine constructs elements. I'll not go into the details, but please remember, always use the top left proxy. I'll start with a new frame. You probably know that InDesign has an auto size feature here, in which you can set, like in the Typefi panel, height only, width only, height and width. And indeed, when you select something, minimum height, for example, 12, you'll see that this is replicated in Typefi's panel. The reason for this overlap is that Typefi's AutoFit, in fact, predates AutoSize, InDesign's AutoSize. Typefi has always had AutoFit, whereas InDesign's AutoSize text frame attributes, the panel, was added to InDesign only in CS6. One of the reasons why we kept the AutoFit panel with its own functionality here is that, as you notice, inexplicably, really, in InDesign, it's not possible to set the maximum height and the maximum width of frames, which isn't very useful in automated text production like Typefi system. But AutoFit is useful for other reasons as well. For example, it can return or set a page item's dimensions even if that frame is inline or in overset text. In InDesign, using InDesign's native methods to get a page item's width, you'd use that item's geometric bounds. For example, a reference to the frame, and for example, the height of the frame is the frame's geometric two, which is the bottom of the frame, minus the value of the top of the frame, which gives you 75 points, which is correct. I'll show the transform panel. The frame is 75 points. But when you add this frame as an inline and make it overset, for example, I'll type Q here. I'll force this frame into overset text, like this, for example. Now the whole frame is gone, is overset. I'll say for the moment inline is frame parent story text frames 0. It's good to check whether we really have a reference to that inline by displaying its contents. Remember, I typed a Q in it. See, there it is, Q. So this tells us that we have a valid reference to that inline. And now if I say height is inline geometric bounds minus inline geometric 0, I get an error. It says here invalid object for this request, and that's because that frame is overset. With AutoFit, you can, however, get the dimensions of an overset frame. Let's take a look at the AutoFit scripting API. Remember that in the previous sessions we discussed Typefi settings. That is a sort of a single entry point to all the Typefi script features. And similarly, there's an AutoFit property which gives access to all AutoFit scriptable properties. For example, if I select text frame, then here are InDesign features, but here we see AutoFit settings. And this gives us the AutoFit settings of a text frame, AutoFit page item settings. So if we have a look at page item settings, you can see we have an anchor point, which is a reference point. Here you can set it or read it. Auto resize, you have all sorts of properties, and we go down and we go down and we see here height and width. We can just for the moment ignore scale and set. And these are functions. So if we now say, I'll just keep this for a moment, inline AutoFit settings, height 30. So you see that AutoFit settings can be used to retrieve the dimensions of an overset text frame. One thing that we should notice as a small intermezzo is that AutoFit settings always returns values in points. So I don't need this anymore, so I'll just get a new text frame. This text frame is 215 points. And of course, I now say frame here. 142 points high. But if I set my system to millimeters, then AutoFit still says 142, which is only slightly inconvenient. We can get around that by using JavaScript's unit value. And unit value works like this. It takes a numerical value, for example 20, and an abbreviation for a unit, and how you want it represented as points. So it's a measurement unit converter. So this results is that this tells you that 20 millimeters is the equivalent of 56.6 etc. points. And likewise, if you have 20 points and you want to return it as millimeters, 20 points is just over 7 millimeters. So therefore, if we are working in millimeters, you can use unit value, frame AutoFit settings height is the height in points. We have to specify this. These are points. As millimeters. And now JavaScript actually gives us the height in millimeters, 50 millimeters and a bit. As you can see here, this is correct. So this is a small intermezzo on singularity of AutoFit, that it uses points, always uses points. Be aware of that. Another useful feature of AutoFit is that height and width are neutral with respect to a frame's rotation angle. Rotated frames occur fairly often, for example, especially to accommodate wide tables. You get side turn tables or portrait landscape tables, they're sometimes called. And when you use geometric bounds then you have to be aware that rotated frames return the geometric bounds a bit differently. So if we have a frame here, I'll now say I don't use this anymore. I'll not use this anymore. Like here, I say height is frame, and when I run this script, it says 142, which is correct. And when I rotate this frame like this, it says 390, which of course is wrong. The frame's height is still 142 points. Now, AutoFit doesn't have that problem. As you see, when I do this frame, AutoFit settings height returns 142. So this is another very useful feature of AutoFit. There are several ways in which you can change a text frame's dimensions. One way is to use the geometric bounds. That is possible. And another way is to use AutoFit to set the frame's minimum and maximum height to the same value. In that way, you set it to a particular value. So, for example, this frame is 166. If we want to make that frame a particular height, minimum height and maximum height, we'll first have to find these features in the object model. AutoFit page item settings again. It's not entirely self-evident, but it's in limits, AutoFit limits. I select this AutoFit limits, and you see here that various properties, among others, maximum height, maximum width, and minimum width. And that these are part of the limits properties. So I'll first say lim, just to save myself a lot of typing. Lim is frame AutoFit settings limits. It's just a shortcut. Now I can say lim minimum width is lim maximum width is 100, for example. And there we are. It's set it to 100 and 100. I could then add minimum height I need, of course. And here, height. And now I have a frame that's 100 by 100. This can get tedious if you want to set all parameters. If you want to set both height and width, then it's easier to use the set function. I'll not go through the object model again. You can find it for yourself. Okay, I'll start again with a new frame, which is like this. Now if I want to set a frame, its width and height, I'll say frame AutoFit settings set, limits, still limits, set, and I give it 4 parameters like this. Notice that this is not an array of 4 values. These are 4 separate parameters, and they are ordered. And they're ordered like as minimum width, maximum width, minimum height, and maximum height, as you can see here. When you set the size of a frame like this, and if there aren't any other Typefi relations, so if this is none, you see that the reference point is not used. So therefore, it's always a good idea when you set the limits to set the AutoFit anchor point here. And you do that as follows. I'll just block this out for a moment, as we saw earlier. So AutoFit page item settings. Anchor point is an AutoFit reference point, and you can set here various points. So frame AutoFit settings anchor point is, and we'll set it to top left. You can copy it out of here. Top left. While running the script, the top left reference point is selected. We'll conclude this session with a scenario that we regularly encounter, which is an inline image causes a big gap at the bottom of a frame. I'll create that scenario. I don't need any of these things. Here's a frame. I add text. I'll go in search of an image. Here, and I insert this as an inline. There. Now, suppose that this image is just a bit taller than the available space on a page. So you end up with this. So you have a text frame which has a very big gap at its bottom. So here's the problem. How do you fit this overset image into this frame? Without AutoFit, you can't determine the height of the frame. And so it's very difficult to check, or it's impossible to check, whether it can be reduced to fit the page. And you have only two not particularly attractive options. You can scale the image down in small steps until it fits, but it never really fits precisely. Or you can enlarge this frame to expose the inline image so that you can actually measure it, and then you can see whether it's possible to fit. It's all pretty messy. What you can do with AutoFit, you can get the size of the overset inline, then you get the size of the available space in the frame, and then you set the height of the frame. So let's have a look how that works. I'll not use any of these, I don't think. We're now in a situation where we have detected this situation. So we say the available space is the frame. I should have left it. Geometric bounds 2. That's the bottom. This is the bottom of this text frame, minus the baseline of the last visible line in the frame. Frame lines min -1, the last line, its baseline. We have 166 points available. Now, the graphic is frame parent story rectangles 0. A bit arbitrarily here, but it's just for the example. We have a handle on the inline immediately in overset text, and now we say the height. The maximum height, we reduce the height by making it smaller. AutoFit settings, limits, maximum height is available. And we have to say -3. That's because InDesign in this situation adds 3 to the baseline. It's rather annoying. It was introduced in CC, but it's still with us. Right, so I'll run this script like this. Of course, this is not the whole story. We should then fit it to frame here with like this, but this is pure InDesign. We reduce the height of the rectangle. So now we have to fit the graphic into that rectangle. And we do it fit options proportionally. Proportionally. I've done this many times before. This is pure InDesign. So now we get there, and now the frame is sized. So this shows how useful AutoFit is and how relatively simple and a small arsenal of script properties can be very useful. Thank you very much.